Hello everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Mazz Reporter. Here's a quick roundup of today's top trending news for January 25, 2026. Top trending news today from the UK and European region. Starmer demands Trump apology. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has condemned US President Donald Trump's comments about British troops in Afghanistan, calling them appallingly insulting. Trump claimed NATO allies stayed a little back during the conflict, sparking calls for an apology. Police licensing overhaul. All police officers in England and Wales are set to require official licenses under major reforms, aiming to raise standards and accountability. Pubs' tax fight success. Over 1,400 British pubs threatened a ban on Labour MPs after a proposed business rates hike. The government backed down, highlighting pub sector influence. London's hidden microclimates are thriving. From scorpions and snakes to peacocks, falcons, turtles and seals, species are flourishing in the city's unique urban jungle spots, making London the only UK place with such diversity in one city. This Guardian feature has sparked interest in biodiversity amid climate shifts. Weather. The Met Office has issued yellow warnings for heavy rain and strong winds across southwest England and Wales due to Storm Ingrid. Ukraine-Russia-US talks and related developments. Ukraine, Russia, and the US have begun talks in Abu Dhabi, while the EU continues sending generators to Ukraine after Russian attacks damaged electricity and heating. President Zelensky criticized some European leaders as weak and indecisive. Trump-related concerns in Europe. European officials remain concerned about Trump's influence in global affairs. The French Navy intercepted a Russian tanker in the Mediterranean linked to oil exports despite sanctions. French Navy intercepts a suspected Russian Shadow Fleet tanker. The French Navy has intercepted a Russian tanker in the Mediterranean suspected to be part of the so-called Shadow Fleet, which enables Russia to export oil despite sanctions. Hungary opposition developments. In Hungary, Prime Minister Orbán vowed to block Ukraine's EU membership, claiming Ukraine interfered in upcoming elections and alleging secret EU aid plans, which have no public proof. Critics accuse him of supporting Russia. Brexit paperwork frustrations at UK ports. UK food exporters face major Brexit-related delays and costs. Trucks and shipments are stuck, meat waits in Calais for weeks, and companies lose thousands over paperwork errors. Top trending news today from the region of the Americas. Immigration crackdown escalations. ICE operations in Minnesota continue, with reports of race-based targeting prompting state officials to seek court intervention. Protests are ongoing in sub-zero temperatures. Trump's Greenland and international focus. Trump blasts Canada over Greenland, with threats involving China, pushes for NATO deal frameworks, and criticizes European allies. This ties into broader Western Hemisphere tensions, including tariffs threatened on countries opposing U.S. moves. U.S. 250th anniversary planning. Local officials in West Virginia announced special events and celebrations for the USA's 250th anniversary throughout 2026. Brevard County honors space history. Florida County Commissioners declared March 21st as Space Coast Day to recognize the region's role in American space exploration. American Airlines expands routes. The airline is adding 5 new flight routes from Chicago and Los Angeles in 2026, increasing connectivity across the U.S. Icy storm warning in the U.S. Emergency declarations in at least 16 states as a large and severe storm approaches, bringing frigid temperatures, ice, snow, and dangerous conditions to millions. This is bracing much of the U.S. for life-threatening weather and possible power outages. Religion shift in Latin America. New survey data show that Catholicism is declining across Latin American countries, while more people say they have no religious affiliation. Colombia, Ecuador. Trade and drug dispute. Colombia halts electricity sales to Ecuador and imposes tariffs amid escalating tensions over trade and alleged drug trafficking. Ecuador retaliates with its own 30% tariff on Colombian goods. Mexico considers halting oil to Cuba. Amid fears of Trump administration retaliation, Mexico weighs stopping critical oil shipments to Cuba, which could deepen Havana's crisis. Haiti political crisis. Leaders plan to oust the prime minister despite U.S. threats. Secretary of State Marco Rubio demands dissolution of the Transitional Presidential Council by early February. UN plans more troops amid turmoil. Venezuela updates. Release of 626 prisoners announced by interim President Rodriguez. Ongoing U.S. envoy changes post-Maduro capture, potential oil sector expansions, and related pressures, e.g., Trump threats, naval blockade considerations for Cuban imports.
Other regional stories. Wildfires in Chile earlier caused deaths and emergency declarations. FBI arrests a former Canadian Olympian turned alleged drug lord in Mexico.
Top trending news today from Western Pacific region. U.S. defense strategy shifts. The United States has updated its defense strategy to focus more on protecting its homeland and countering China, while reducing its direct role in supporting allies. South Korea is expected to take a larger role in deterring North Korea, which remains a direct threat to both South Korea and Japan. China-Taiwan tensions. Tensions between China and Taiwan are rising as China increases military activity around Taiwan. Taiwan's President Lai supports a potential trade deal with the U.S. and has announced higher defense spending despite delays in F-16V fighter jet deliveries. China rapidly modernizing its military. Experts warn that China is modernizing its military quickly, with advanced long-range weapons and stealth jets like the J-20, and is increasing influence in Pacific countries. The U.S. is renewing agreements with Micronesian nations while China expands its economic and security presence in the region. Health and regional issues. In health news, the WHO Western Pacific Regional Office and the Mazz Report on social prescribing, using community activities to improve well-being, highlighting programs in Cambodia and Laos. Avian influenza cases. 3 new human cases of H9N2 bird flu have been reported in China, and authorities are monitoring the situation closely.
Other regional stories. There are growing concerns about China increasing its influence in Pacific countries, while the United States is strengthening its ties with the region. Scientists are also warning about possible climate changes in the Pacific Ocean, including early signs of El Niño that could affect global weather. Meanwhile, local news in places like Guam talks about deep-sea mining, minimum wage, and community issues. And U.S. officials say Japan plays a key role in regional security.
Top trending news today from the Eastern Mediterranean region. Aviation and regional tensions. Many European airlines have stopped flying to parts of the Middle East because of rising tensions, especially between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Airspace over Israel is nearly empty, and airlines fear sudden closures or possible attacks. Syria and security. The Syrian government has taken back more territory, and the U.S. is considering fully withdrawing its troops. Israel has carried out new strikes near the Syria-Lebanon border. Iran has also executed ISIS members and warned of stronger security actions. Gaza and Israel-Palestine. Life in Gaza remains very difficult despite a weak ceasefire, with severe shortages of basic needs. Israel continues military actions, while the U.S. proposes a new plan for Gaza that has received mixed reactions from other countries.
Other regional stories. France stopped a Russian-linked oil tanker in the Mediterranean. The U.S. is strengthening its military presence in the Middle East, and NATO is closely watching the situation.
Top trending news today from the African region. Nigeria. More than 170 people were kidnapped from churches in northern Nigeria by armed men. The kidnappers are asking for ransom. This shows the ongoing serious security problems in the region. South Africa. Opposition leader Julius Malema is waiting for a court decision that could send him to prison and remove him from parliament. There are also concerns after deadly road accidents killed school children. Sahel region. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are working together with Russia to improve security and communication. The African Union has lifted sanctions on Guinea. East Africa. In Uganda, opposition leader Bobi Wine says he is in hiding after police raids. In Sudan, millions of children cannot go to school because of war. Fighting continues in eastern Congo and Mozambique.
Other regional stories. The U.S. has paused visa processing for many African countries. Floods have hit parts of southern Africa. Pope Leo XIII will visit Africa soon. China is reducing loans to Africa, focusing instead on energy and mining projects.
Top trending news today from the South Asian region. IMF chief praises Pakistan's reforms. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva commended the government's push for budget discipline, economic improvements, and continuity of programs. This positive note contrasts with ongoing challenges and boosts morale around export-led growth efforts, reiterated by Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif. Consumer trends. Comparison. Reports highlight Pakistan surpassing India in household ownership of appliances like washing machines, 58% versus 20%, and refrigerators, despite economic disparities, sparking online debates on living standards and consumption patterns. Tira Valley security issues. Pakistani military continues evacuations in Tira Valley, Khyber district, ahead of operations against Pakistani Taliban elements. Nepal climate deal. Nepal became the first South Asian country to sign a Leaf Coalition agreement for up to $55 million in climate finance for forest protection. ICC rejected Bangladesh's request. Bangladesh may refuse to play T20 World Cup matches in India due to security worries and issues with player Mustafizur Rahman. The ICC rejected Bangladesh's request to move the games, and Scotland could replace them if they pull out. Pakistan supports Bangladesh, while critics accuse the ICC of favoring India. Ex-PM Sheikh Hasina's attack on interim government. From exile in India, Hasina called the Yunus-led interim regime murderous and fascist, urging its overthrow and unveiling a 5-point plan amid ongoing demands for her return and political turmoil ahead of elections. Thailand-Cambodia border. Fighting continues along the Thailand-Cambodia border, causing many deaths, injuries, and hundreds of thousands of people to flee their homes. Ceasefire efforts are weak, and the humanitarian situation is getting worse. Energy and climate. Coal use in Southeast Asia is rising fast, especially in countries like Indonesia and Vietnam. This is slowing efforts to move to clean energy and reduce pollution. Tourism. Thailand has seen a big drop in Chinese tourists, partly due to safety concerns and the border conflict, hurting its tourism industry. A Qatari royal climber was appointed Pakistan's tourism ambassador after summiting Nanga Parbat, showcasing mountain tourism potential.
Other regional stories. Singapore's Changi Airport saw strong passenger growth in 2025. In the Philippines, many workers face long hours and low pay. Foreign investment in renewable energy continues, but aging farmers and political changes remain challenges in the region. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll keep bringing you interesting and insightful updates on the stories that are shaping our world.